Hello and welcome to True Tales of the Paranormal. I'm here to provide you with the most recent update on information regarding the unfortunate passing of paranormal investigator Dan Rivera. As many of you have no doubt heard by now, Mr. Rivera passed away in Gettysburg, Pennsylvania on Sunday, July the 13th, 2025, on the concluding evening of a 3-day tour stint in Gettysburg for various haunted objects from the Ed and Lorraine Warren Occult Museum. And these objects included Annabelle the doll. Yes, that doll. The only new information is that Mr. Rivera told his colleagues that morning he was feeling unwell. And so actually, I don't know if it was in the morning now. It was early in the day. He told his colleagues he was feeling unwell and he was going to go back to his hotel room and rest up a bit. You know, I've been on a number of vacations, and usually at one point during the vacation, someone says, I feel sick, I need to go back to the hotel and lie down. We're like, okay, you know, and then they're okay. Well, unfortunately, Mr. Rivera was obviously much more unwell than anyone had an inkling about. And he went back to the hotel room and subsequently passed away. So that's all we know right now. Now, there are innumerable things that can go internally wrong within your body to cause you to feel really sick before you're about to pass away. You know, it could have been a heart thing coming on, some sort of an aneurysm, anything. You know, from my own life. I mean, my dad, he passed away from Parkinson's disease when he was 73. And he was in a facility, and the morning of his death, he told the staff after he had breakfast, I don't feel so well. And so they were like, oh yeah, we'll take you back to your room, we'll check on you in a little bit. And the nurse who called me, she called an hour later after she went to go check on my dad again. He had passed away. And they had taken his temperature, they had taken his blood pressure. There were no indications that death was looming over him like that, but evidently it was, because I mean, within the hour, he was gone. You know? So, we just don't know. We just don't know when our time is up. It's up. As to Mr. Rivera's passing being directly connected with Annabelle the doll, I know a lot of people, you know, there's definitely two camps. There's a camp believing, yes, it's connected. There's the other camp, it's just a coincidence, a very unfortunate one, but a coincidence all the same. I've been trying to get into more the logical camp, but I've been a psychic intuitive my whole life. And I know evil when I come into contact with it. It has a very visceral effect on me. It's extremely physical. It makes me feel very nauseated. And years ago, when I saw a picture of Annabelle the doll in some paranormal magazine, I mean, this was like when I was a teenager. So I don't even remember really how old I was. I do know it was before college, so I was younger than 18. I saw a picture of that Raggedy Ann doll, and you know, at first I was like, oh, that doll looks kind of weird, you know. Something about it struck me as being off, you know what I'm saying? Just kind of, I don't know, there's something weird. Well, my best friend growing up had a Raggedy Ann doll, one of the big ones, you know, like Annabelle. It's like, I don't know, 2.5 feet, 3 feet tall. A totally floppy, you know, it can't move on its own. It's more of a stuffed toy in a doll shape. Because dolls, we usually associate them with being plastic, like Barbie, you know. Well, I was very well acquainted with a Raggedy Ann doll belonging to my friend, but the one I saw the picture of immediately made me feel kind of sick. And then I read the article attached to it, and I was just like, and that was my very first experience of seeing something that made me feel physically ill because it's evil. There really is something residing in that doll, and it is not pleasant at all, and it wants to cause harm and chaos. I was wondering in my previous video about this, why would these entities, I can tell you with every confidence, there are multiple entities residing within that doll. Why would they do that? And I kind of, rattled off, well, there have been 3 movie franchises, the implication being that's free PR for this evil source, because it's force, because it's getting out among the masses, and who knows if it's been able to negatively influence anyone through that. I don't know. And then I began thinking, because, this force, whatever it is, it's extremely powerful. Residing within an inanimate object extremely limits its ability to do its thing, to wreak havoc. So I really think it has remained in that doll all these years, all these decades, because the Warrens, I believe the Warrens came into possession of the doll, bad choice of words there, in 1971 or 72. And that thing's been sitting in that doll this whole time, because I think it was hoping for an opportunity through the Warrens to somehow influence many, many people. And that's what it's done through the movies. You've got the Annabelle franchise, which is directly about Annabelle. Well, you've got the Conjuring franchise, which is about the work that the Warrens do specifically. Of course, they factor in the Annabelle movies as well. And then you have the Nun franchise, which again stems from the work of Ed and Lorraine Warren. So that's what I think's going on here. These evil entities, their primary goal was to get their energy disseminated out to as many individuals as they could without having to leave the comfort of their little brown case, I really do think that's what's going on. And, I know from what's going on here in Houston locally, from people I'm connected with who went to New Orleans to see Annabelle in person when she was in town. I have a video about the bizarre things that happened in and around New Orleans when she was there. Some of them went with respectful intentions, but most of them went with, this is not going to be anything. It's just something fun to do. And then we'll go out drinking and eating and all this. And I was just like, no, I'm staying home. I did not go. There have been things, okay, that have been happening to some of these people, not all of them. It was like a group, I can't remember now. I think it was close to 20 people who caravanned in their cars from Houston to New Orleans. It's like a 10-hour drive. My husband and I have done it ourselves on a separate occasion. It's not a big deal to drive there from Texas, from Houston. But they've had things going on. They have mild paranormal activities in their homes now, a number of them. Speaking specifically of 5 people that have reported this in our little online group. And a couple of them are wanting me to come over and get rid of it. And I'm like, I know it's connected to that doll. And I'm like, please, see if you can get a priest to come out. And that's the downside too about the Catholic Church. That there's a saying, the greatest trick the devil ever played on humanity is to trick us into believing he doesn't exist. Where there's good, there's evil. We live in a universe built upon polarity. 2 poles. two opposites. So if you believe in good, you need to acknowledge evil exists. Not everything is all love and light. Okay? I know from my own personal experience working for my clients. So they've got this stuff going on. They're wanting me to go over, two of them wanted me to go over it and get it out. And I'm just like, sorry, based upon my last case of a house cleansing that happened to be a demonic infestation, and I didn't know that going in, but thankfully I was prepared just in case. Remember, always be prepared, always come with all your protections. So I was ready. I was able to get rid of it. And that video's here too. But yeah, I am not going to have anything to do with that doll, and I know these people need help, and I've connected them with someone else who does this type of work as well. And so hopefully he'll be going to their homes soon, or they'll convince a priest. But these days, the Catholic Church, they will often just tell you, oh, perhaps you just need to go see a psychiatrist. Maybe it's just mental. It's so funny how, historically speaking, in our views of demons and mental illness, in the Middle Ages, people who were mentally ill were assumed immediately to be demonically possessed and were treated as such, which is just atrocious. These days, if someone is actually wrestling with a demonic force, priests assume they have a mental condition and need to go see a psychiatrist. Isn't that funny? Look at what modern science has done. You know, it's just, it's awful. You know, why can't we figure out a middle ground? You know, and some do. So, some priests do have certain criteria that must be met before they will agree to go to a home, which is really, I guess, the smart way to go about it. Back in the day when I did this type of work, that's what I did. I had my list of characteristics of a haunting, of an infestation, and of a possession. So I knew going in, interviewing the people about where they fit, you know, in that scale. Of course, when the client doesn't tell you the whole story, like in the last house cleansing I've ever done in person, yeah, I didn't have them properly fit into my scale. And so had a very nasty surprise, but took care of it. You know, like I said, you've got to be, you know, if you're into the paranormal and you go to these places, you've got to have your protections on you. You've got to have faith that they work. You have to have faith in the source of those protections. And also, you should never challenge or ridicule the source of the negative or evil energy. Because when you do that, you open the door to allowing that thing to then attack you personally. That gives them permission, because it's tit for tat. You know, you slap my face, I'm going to slap yours. So don't do that. Remember, when you're visiting these haunted places, keep your protections up, talking about it. Keep them close to you. You know, my rosaries here, I always keep them right here on my table when I'm talking to you guys, always. And have faith that they work. And treat this energy with a modicum of respect, of healthy respect, meaning that it's something that's powerful, it could possibly cause harm. Why open the door to that by ridiculing the thing or challenging it, right? So this is Nefer Caffrey of True Tales of the Paranormal, your hostess with the ghostess. Thank you for watching. If you've enjoyed this video, please give it a like, drop a comment. That helps to disseminate my videos out in front of new eyeballs. And subscribe. I am just past 800 subscribers, and I never ever thought this channel would go anywhere like beyond like 10. So thank you so very, very much. I appreciate you all. Love you all. I'm wishing you a blessed day ahead.